Hello and welcome back to another episode of TWIG, and this week there are loads of really big things to talk about. First of all, Galaxite's Winter Rush tournament has just come to a close. Also, there's a new perk rotation in Core Wars with brand new perks, and also there's been huge changes in hyper races to how all the different engines work that completely change the game. So make sure you stick around to hear about all the changes in hyper races and how you should be playing hyper races now. So yeah, let's get into the video. So as always, I'll start off by putting the changelogs for this week's update on the screen now, so you can pause the video and read them if you want. And also, here's the changelog from last week. It's just a small one, but I will be mentioning it in this video. So, over the past couple of weeks, there's been a few little shop changes with some new shop items being added. So, in last week's update, there was 2 new items added, and they are the alligator avatar and the froggy core. And then also in this week's update, there's been another 2 new items added, and they are the froggy dropship and the turtley evo core. So that's the first evo core that is in Galaxite, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, before it's mainly just been evo avatars, but yeah. So the Winter Rush tournament that Galaxite held took place on the 19th of February, so that's the day before when this video comes out. And yeah, it was basically just a tournament in Rush quads. That's teams of 4. And yeah, there were 64 players overall in 16 different teams. And yeah, now we know which team won that tournament. The winning team was Team 9. Their team name was Pink Glitch. I'll put the names of all the people on that team on the screen. And yeah, huge congratulations to them. It was a really tough tournament. There was a lot of really good players in the tournament. So yeah, I'm going to quickly run through the prizes that the people on the winning team get, because they're quite interesting. So yeah, first of all, they get a choice of if they want 3 months of Ultra or the Season 5 Battle Pass. They also get 10 Battle Pass levels, and they get a special legendary title that says Winter Rush Champion. So yeah, I think it's like, that's probably the best prize out of the lot, the title. Because yeah, it's a really rare title. Only 4 people in the whole of Galaxite have it. That makes it one of the rarest items in the whole of Galaxite, so it is a really cool item. So now I'm going to talk about the hyper races changes from this week. So first of all, a new map has been added called Sweet Tooth Avenue. It's all decorated with like a bunch of sweet food like cake, donuts, ice cream. Yeah, it's also quite a long map. It's one of the longer maps in hyper races. Like at the moment, the world record for Sweet Tooth Avenue is like the longest out of all of the different world records for the different maps in hyper races. Although I do expect that world record to be lowered. Yeah, but the current world record for Sweet Tooth Avenue is just below 3 minutes. Although it's very hard to get a time anywhere near getting below 3 minutes. So yeah, I think it is quite a nice map. I do play hyper races quite a lot, and yeah, it is quite a nice map to play. It's quite a fun map to play. So yeah. So now for what I would say is the biggest change in hyper races this week, and quite possibly the biggest change in hyper races ever, is Galaxite have increased the speed of all of the handling engines and the speed engines, apart from the cruiser engine and the racer engine. So that means the speed of the power engine, the jet engine, the muscle engine, and the tank engine has been increased. So now those engines are faster. And yeah, I think the reason that Galaxite has done this is because the cruiser engine and the racer engine were basically the only engines you could use competitively. Like, if you looked at which engines the people used for the world records on all of the different maps, basically the only 2 engines that were used were the cruiser engine and the racer engine. Basically any other engine is just not viable. Yeah, you just can't use them. If you do use them, you're just putting yourself at a big disadvantage. So yeah, I think that's the reason why Galaxite has changed it. So now the other engines are a bit more usable. So you might now be wondering what engine you should be using now, because the change has changed the meta of hyper races quite a lot. So yeah, I would say that the two new engines that are like now actually viable are the power engine and the muscle engine. I would say those are the two engines that you want to focus on, like other than the cruiser and racer engine. So yeah, basically, I would say that the power engine is now like usable in situations where you might have used the racer engine before, and like when you might have used the cruiser engine before, you might now want to try out the muscle engine. Because yeah, basically the muscle engine is sort of like an alternative to the cruiser engine, which is slightly slower, although it does give you a lot more handling. So yeah, I would say the muscle engine is like it gives you a lot more consistency when you're like racing and trying to get good times. You'll get a lot more consistent times with the muscle engine than with the cruiser engine. Although the cruiser engine is slightly faster. So yeah, it's just a bit of a trade-off. Like you just have to decide what you would rather have, more handling or a little bit more speed. So yeah, I would say that's what you want to know about the muscle engine. And then with the power engine, again, I would say it's a bit of an alternative to the racer engine. Although yeah, it is quite a bit faster than the racer engine, but you have a lot less handling. It's a lot harder to control. So if you do want to try the power engine to try and go a little bit faster and get a little bit faster times, you do have to be careful. Yeah, it takes a while to sort of get used to the power engine and the handling. Because yeah, if you do sort of spin out of control, then yeah, it's hard to recover. So yeah, I would say the power engine does have potential to be used to get really fast times, although it's really not consistent. It takes a long time to get used to. So yeah, that's what I would say about that. Yeah, an example of how the different engines can be used, like with the muscle engine and the power engine, is with the new maps, Sweet Tooth Avenue, because there's some people who are trying the power engine to try and get fast times, because I think that's probably the engine that you can get the fastest time with, because yeah, it is like very fast, although it's really hard to control. And at the moment, the world record for Sweet Tooth Avenue uses the muscle engine just because of how consistent it is and yeah, how easy it is to control. So yeah, it is like a bit of a trade-off. You have to decide what you would rather have, handling or speed. So yeah, that's basically my summary of the changes to the engines in Hyper Racers this week. So that's enough of talking about the engines and hype races. Let's move on to Core Wars, because there's also been a really big change in Core Wars, and that is the new perk rotation. It's always really exciting when there's a new perk rotation in Core Wars. So yeah, there's one brand new perk that hasn't been in Core Wars before, and then the other three perks have been in Core Wars in the past. So yeah, let's start with the brand new one, because it's also the cheapest one. So yeah, for 6 core pieces, you can get double-edged sword, which is it basically means you do more damage to other people, but you also take damage when you hit other people. So yeah, that's basically how it works. So I'm pretty sure it's double the amount of damage that you do to other people. Although I'm not completely sure on that, but I do think it's double. And then every time you hit someone else, basically you take half a heart of damage just for hitting them. So even if your opponent is just like not doing anything, just staying still, not hitting you, you'll still take half a heart of damage for each hit you do on them. So yeah, that's basically how it works. It is a bit of a risk to use, because it just means you're always like in a fight, you just got less hearts and yeah, less health, and you're a lot more likely to be killed. Like for example, if you're killing someone, even if you do kill them, if someone else comes up behind you and starts hitting you, you're probably gonna die just because you're low on hearts after the first fight. And then you've also got to try and kill the other person. You'll be taking more damage there. So yeah, I think in solos it is viable, but in like quads, I don't think that double-edged sword is like yeah, I don't think it's worth taking the risk. Yeah, just because you're a lot more likely to be killing a lot more people at once, like fighting a lot more people. So yeah, if you're fighting one person, even if you kill them, there's like 3 other people on that team trying to kill you. So yeah, I think it is viable in solos, but not in other modes. So then the second perk is Core Drain for 10 core pieces. Basically, what it does is for each hit you get on someone else's core, it'll heal your own core up by like 1. So say you hit someone else's core 3 times, your core will go up like 3 bars of health. Then the next perk is fast regen, for also for 10 core pieces. Basically just does what it says on the tin. You just regen hearts faster. And then finally there's insurance for 12 core pieces. What it does is when you die, when you respawn, you'll have the same tier of sword and armor, like damage reduction. So yeah, it's basically a way of ensuring you keep the same tier of sword and damage reduction when you respawn. So that's it for this week's episode of TWIG. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, and also if you've not already, please subscribe because it really helps me out and also means you won't miss any future episodes of this series. So yeah, bye.